This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There it is.
How you doing?
Good. Are you in the portal too?
I'm back in my office. It's going to be a busy time, for the next few weeks here as the real busy season in college football begins now. This is when you're chasing down rumors, when you're when players are entering the portal, when you're talking to guys about where they're going to end up after they enter the portal, when coaches suddenly want to reach out to you and ask you questions, and all kinds of stuff happen. So.
Okay. All right. So talk to us. We've got 4 in the portal right now. We got TVD, Cheney, Flag, and Jafari Harvey. Correct?
Yeah, those are the 4 guys. There's going to be more. There's a lot of, I don't want to call it dead weight on the roster, but certainly guys that I think aren't part of the long-term plans here. Guys that didn't really contribute much that can leave now as grad transfers and go elsewhere and start fresh, etc. But yeah, those were the first 4. I think at some point today or soon, you'll probably hear something official from Cam Kitchens and James Williams saying that they're going pro. I think Leonard Taylor's another guy, another underclassman who could potentially leave early. I know he's been up on draft boards. The one I'm interested to see that what happens is Matt Lee, because he still has a year of eligibility, the center. He didn't get an invite to the Senior Bowl like Javian Cohen did. Javian Cohen's going to the Senior Bowl, so that's another guy with eligibility left that's leaving. He's your starting left guard. But I would suspect that Matt Lee will probably go. I mean, he was really good. He's 48 career starts in college and actually has a year left because of COVID. So, we'll see if maybe the collective comes up with some money for him. But listen, it's a busy time, man. There are going to be some guys making some money to come play quarterback here at the University of Miami, and safety is going to be a position they're looking for help in the transfer part. I think defensive tackle is another position. So it's going to be a busy time here in the next few weeks.
Are players also leaving because next year you're really not set to be much of a team and there's not really...
No, I don't think so at all, though. I think they could actually be one of the best teams in the ACC next year. I know it's hard to see right now because they don't have a quarterback and we don't know what's going to happen. But this has all been prepped for months. Like they were expecting, an exodus of certain guys as the season progressed, and you have to be ready for major roster turnover every single year. You're going to have 30 to 40 new guys every year now in college football because people are going to get upset. They're not going to want to sit the bench, and they have the right to transfer. And so that's why I think it's weird to say this, but I almost think you're better off recruiting guys the second time around because they've already transferred, right? Like once they transfer, if they can't really leave through the portal again unless they're graduate transfers. So it's almost like you hope you get them after their true freshman season, right? Like you get them when they're maybe done with their first or second year. They've already put in all the time in the weight room and eating and all that kind of stuff. And then you get them for the next 2 years or the 2 best years. So college football's undergone a lot of change, but I expect. Look, Miami's collective is really strong. I've spoken to a lot of people. There is money to spend. They have spent money, and more money will be spent to try to build a really good roster around Mario.
Is TVD going to SMU?
That's a good question. I don't know where TVD is going. I know that there's a lot of options for him because you look around college football, how many guys have left programs. He's not the only quarterback. It's a very packed situation. I can tell you SMU likes their quarterback. I know Rhett Lashley likes the Preston Stone kid that they have there.
Extension, by the way. Lashley just got an extension.
Yeah, Lashley just got an extension. They're coming to the ACC. Where I could see TVD ending up is a place like Kentucky. Kentucky, who just took an NC State quarterback, Devin Leary. It's one of those places you can go play in the SEC, hopefully resurrect your career a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see where it is. He's got options. There's going to be people that come at him. I think offering opportunities for him to play or at least compete for a starting job. But look, the market is full, and Miami, I think, is going to be in a good position. I think they're going to end up with a good quarterback here through the portal, and they'll probably end up signing 2 high school guys.
Right. So, what are you hearing? Any names out there that they
Well,
might?
I've got my trusty notes here. Oh, I've been writing down from all my conversations. Here's who I would list as guys. I think Will Rogers from Mississippi State is a guy that I think that Miami
Isn't
looked
he a
into.
little old? Is it Will Rogers like 180 years old
Well,
now by
listen,
this time?
all of these guys. I think
Will
what you need to.
Rogers. I
I
was
think
watching Will Rogers when I was a kid.
yes, the former Mississippi. Well, what's funny is he's thrown for over 12,000 yards because he started so many games at Mississippi State
He's
over the
180
years.
years old. I would
He
expect.
he is. He's a grad transfer. I think Cam Ward from Washington State
Will
is a,
Rogers has been playing since they had leather helmets.
yes. Will has. He's been at this a long time. Another name that people are throwing around is Talia Tungavailoa, whose brother obviously is already a quarterback here in Miami, and
Really?
yes. Yeah, that's another name that's interesting. Obviously played at Maryland. I know that there's some questions about whether or not he has eligibility and yada yada yada. We'll find out. That's another name that I was discussing earlier today. Um, so yeah, I think one of those 3 guys. I know Will Howard is another one, the Kansas State quarterback who just left, is a big name out there. Miami, I'm not worried about the Hurricanes landing a quarterback. They're going to get somebody who has starting experience that can come in and play for a year and let Emory Williams develop, and then you see what you got with the freshmen that are coming in. I think Miami's in a very good position to flip Cedric Bailey, um, who's the quarterback right now at Hollywood Chaminade, and he's a 3-star kid headed to NC State. Miami's collective is better than NC State's collective, so I would tend to think that they'll be in a good position with him. They got Judd Anderson, so we'll see. But I expect at least 1 transfer quarterback, 2 freshmen most likely, and then you have Emory Williams, and those are your 4 guys in camp.
I'm just laughing in my mind here, thinking something really stupid,
Yes.
just a little fun.
Uh
That Miami brings Tua's brother here, and then we have idiot fans by the end of the year that they're saying tank for the other Tua.
huh. Could happen, man. Could happen. Look, it's gonna be neat, right? Wouldn't it be neat? Don't you think Tua would love that to have his brother quarterback in the same city with him?
Not only that, they're very family oriented. So the fact
Yes.
the brother would come and then the family can support both kids. They don't have to travel nearly as much. And
Mm-hmm.
then on top of all of that, the U will get better attendance because then Tua will go to games and Dolphin fans will go to games just to get a view of Tua at the Canes game. So, there's like this whole beautiful. It's not a vicious cycle. It's a delicious cycle. I don't know. It's going to bring a lot of buzz to the team. So you mentioned the Tunga Vailoa kid. I didn't even know that he would be available for that. That's
That's
pretty
one of the names. That's one of the names that I was given today. So,
good too. He's actually a decent quarterback.
yeah, he put up good numbers at Maryland. In that scheme again. Any Miami fans thinking they're getting like a Drake May or Caleb Williams or somebody that guy doesn't exist, right? Like these are all going to be guys that did okay in other places and just want an opportunity. And the thing is, this is a very attractive place to come because Miami has a really good offensive line, right? They got 3. They're going to have at the minimum 3 starters back. They have Samson Okunlola, who's a 5-star recruit. They got a kid in McCoy, who's another one the coaching staff is super high on. They've got running backs. Mark Fletcher's one of the best running backs.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and then you have a couple receivers. I don't Xavier Restrepo, from what I was told last night, could end up going with Tyler Van Dyke wherever he ends up going. So we'll see what happens there. But um, I think the other 2 receivers, both of those guys, Colby Young and George, both of those guys were solid this year. They put up good numbers, right? So you have two legitimate receivers. You're
If
recruiting guys.
going with him, then it's SMU, bro. Then it's
Well,
SMU.
I don't know that it's SMU. It could be somewhere else. Listen, there's a lot of openings, and Preston Stone is a guy that ultimately um, is good enough for SMU. I think Rhett Lashley doesn't want to disrupt the apple cart over there, so they kind of have a good thing going. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay. No, that makes sense too. If the kid's gonna come back and he still has, and they had a good year, and hell, he got an extension, so obviously everything went well. That makes sense that you wouldn't, disrupt it. Unfortunately, and you got to tell TVD, hey man, I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
It's just one. But if you're TVD, you really want to go there because you
You
can
want
trust him that you're going to have a good year. Wherever you go now, you're really rolling the dice.
Yeah, and I think look, for TVD, this is about going to an offense that he likes to play in. So to me, it's gonna be a tempo offense. It's gonna be like what he did the last 6 games of his rookie of the year season in 2021 when Rhett Lashley ratcheted up the tempo and Miami was just flinging the ball down the field. Defenses didn't have time to set. He didn't have to sit there and read zones. It was boom, 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 boom down the field. So whoever runs that kind of offense, and again, the crazy thing is look at how many coaching vacancies have just been filled and still haven't been filled. Right? Like there's going to be more coaching carousel. So the crazy part is these kids are all just jumping in, and it's like they have people they know, they have obviously other coaches they talk to throughout this process. A lot of back channeling, right? That always happens. But at the same time, it's like, well, what if that guy doesn't get the job there? Or what if he's not hired to be the coordinator there, right? Like it's a
Right.
gamble, but it's part of the game. It's part of it. That's why Mario calls it the Wild Wild West, and that's why he's accurate.
All right. What are you working on in the athletic? So folks can check it out, my friend.
Well, I filed this late last night, but it's an easy to digest position by position breakdown for the Hurricanes in terms of the roster, in terms of starts, snaps, so that people, when they say, who do we have there? They have a guide to sort of guide them through position by position for the Canes. So that'll be going up on the website tomorrow sometime, hopefully with the news about Cam Kitchens and James Williams officially declaring. Hopefully they come out and finally say it. And so I have that. I'm going to the ACC championship game on Saturday. I'm going to be there to cover FSU Louisville, and I'll be writing about that game and how those teams were built to sort of I don't know, beat Clemson and through the transfer portal, the unique approach of that. So there's plenty, and I'm going to have a new Wide Right podcast as well, so that people who want to hear more of what I'm talking about in terms of the Canes, they can tune into the Wide Right podcast.
Oh, by the way, they're asking me who's going to start for the Canes on the bowl game.
I think Jakari Brown is a possibility. I know Mario Cristobal is trying to convince him not to enter the portal, to give it a shot and play in the bowl game to help his game film out. But ultimately, that's a decision I think Jakari has to make on his own. So I think we've all sort of penciled in that he'd be going. So we'll see if maybe he needs to play in that game and do well to get some schools to pull the trigger on him and give him a scholarship. But I don't think so. From what I had heard, he had other schools already interested in him. So
If I'm him, there's no way I play that game. No way. I risk injury.
Right.
I risk having a terrible game and putting that on tape. You had a chance during the season to play me, and you chose not to. Screw you. That's
right.
If I'm Jakari, that's what I'm saying. Yo,
right.
dude, you didn't. So now you need me, and now you want to feed me this bullshit that I got to play this game to get a scholarship? Nah, I'm out of here. You guys have a nice life. I'm moving on. So my prediction would be that Jakari doesn't play that game because he has nothing to gain from playing that game, and he has everything to lose. What if he blows out a knee or a shoulder or something?
Well, I think the only way he would stay is if Mario guarantees a scholarship for next season, right? And hey, I'm still getting my school paid for next year while I wait to go in the portal the following year.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the only thing would be for Jakari, can he graduate, right? And that would be if he stays at Miami, would he graduate and get his degree if he were to get hurt in that situation? So
right, yeah. If I'm him, I would leave. Yeah.
So
Overall.
probably a walk on to answer your question. Which walk on that is, I don't know. I have no idea. If we didn't see Jakari Brown this year, what makes you think I've seen a walk on?
Where's the football? I'm gonna warm up.
Throw it over here. I'm gonna start warming up too.
I can walk on, bro. Let's go.
All right,
Follow
brother.
At Manny_Navarro and catch his work there at the Athletic. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Good talking to you, man. Take care.
Don't forget, folks, go to caneswear.com. Use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off. Online, in person, doesn't matter. Caneswear.com online, anything and everything practically with a Canes logo. They've got Dolphins gear and Marlins gear and Panthers gear, Inter-Miami gear and Miami Heat gear. There you go. All kinds of stuff. And use our code BIG010 for 10% off. Caneswear.com.